Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. 90 Day. Stacey calls out Georgi for making jabs at sister Darcey's expense after she gets too drunk at anniversary party. I just feel like a lot of times I don't think it's fair the way Georgi treats my sister, Stacey Silva said in a confessional. Stacey Silva and Florian Sukic have joined Darcey Silva and Georgi Rusev for an epic anniversary party in Bulgaria. But Georgi has grown increasingly frustrated with his wife's antics. On the September 21st episode of 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After, the two couples reunited for the first time in weeks at a Bulgarian dance studio, where they prepared a special dance for Darcey and Georgi's upcoming wedding anniversary party. Darcey was excited to have her twin sister join her in Bulgaria for the big day, explaining to cameras, "My sister's never missed a big moment in my life." But Stacey was more concerned about her twins' relationship. "I want to show Darcey my love and support because I just feel like a lot of times I don't think it's fair the way Georgi treats my sister," she said in a confessional. Stacey wasted no time holding Georgi's feet to the fire after greetings were said and done. First, she pressed him about if he was enjoying their vacation, which he claimed to be enjoying. "Everything's good? Because I kind of heard there's been some ups and downs," Stacey asked, to which Georgi said, "Well, we know wherever your sister is, there's some drama." That answer did not sit well with Stacey, as she admitted that Darcey may not always be easy to live with, but she still felt worried for her sister. Georgi, however, was more concerned about what Stacey might do at the wedding. "Hopefully Stacey is on her best behavior," he said in a confessional, as Darcey insisted there would be no twin drama between her and her sister. The next day it was time to party. Darcey even had Stacey bring all of their wedding attire, including Georgi's tuxedo and her busty wedding dress, to Bulgaria. However, Georgi was not thrilled with Darcey's outfit choice. Once again, "It doesn't make me feel very comfortable," he said in a confessional. She had all this time to figure out what to wear. What is she expecting? Ultimately, Georgi opted to give up this argument instead. So the two couples then ventured to the venue, which left Darcey impressed. "Wow, your mom and dad went all out," she exclaimed as their car pulled up to the curb. Entering the party, Darcey was most concerned about having to meet the rest of Georgi's family. "That's a lot of pressure for me," she explained in a confessional, "because to feel accepted into their family is the most beautiful feeling, and I just want to make sure that everybody loves me." So after taking part in several more Bulgarian traditions, it was game time for Darcey. First, she exchanged some hugs with Georgi's parents, who were thrilled with the turnout. Darcey then made her way around the room with a wine glass in hand and met each and every person who attended the gathering. Meanwhile, Georgi was very affectionate toward his wife all evening long, something both Stacey and Florian were not used to seeing. "It's nice to see Darcey and Georgi let loose and have fun," Stacey said. "I feel like this is how they should be all the time," added Florian. "This was the first time I've seen Georgi giving attention to her and having fun with her," he explained, noting that both Darcey and Georgi were acting like it was the first day they met. But the longer the night went, the drunker Darcey got. Georgi admitted that Bulgarian parties usually have a lot of drinks, but suggested that Darcey enjoyed his family's wine a little bit too much. Even Stacey and Florian noticed that Darcey was getting tipsy, but Darcey did not seem to care, stating, "Hey, I'd rather be me," while slurring her words. Eventually, the party came to an end. Stacey helped carry the train of Darcey's dress as her sister stumbled across the room, gave Georgi's parents a hug goodbye, and headed out the door. "I feel blessed that everybody could gather," Darcey said in a confessional. "It's a memory to cherish for a lifetime." Added Georgi, "I love these moments when you get together with the family. They're very meaningful and recharging. That's what I was missing for the last 13 years." But things quickly spiraled once the two couples hopped in their car to go home. Darcey began feeling unwell and soon found herself vomiting out the car door. "I've never seen you throw up like this before," Stacey said while holding her sister's hair. Meanwhile, Georgi cracked some jokes at his wife's expense. Both Darcey and Stacey asked Georgi to stop, but he simply laughed off the request. In a confessional, Stacey expressed her displeasure with Georgi's response, suggesting he should have been more focused on caring for his wife. He should be there supporting her, loving her, not making jabs, she explained. She then turned to Florian and said, "You would never let me do that. I mean, you would at least hold my hair." Still, Georgi continued to joke around, even as they pulled away from the venue. "Somebody want to poison the queen? Where's the rat?" he quipped, to which Darcey replied, "You're the rat. You tried to poison me." Darcey continued heaving in the car, which left Georgi grossed out. "Ew," he whined as his wife gagged before she mustered enough energy to tell him, "Shut the F Silva twins up. Are never strangers to drama." But this time it wasn't Darcey stirring the pot, it was Georgi. What should have been a glamorous celebration of love quickly unraveled into a messy scene that left the sisters divided, old wounds reopened, and tensions spilling out under the sparkling chandeliers. The evening started picture perfect. Stacey and Florian's anniversary party had all the makings of a Silva-approved bash. Crystal champagne flutes, silver sequin table runners, and candlelight flickering against an oversized ice sculpture of intertwined hearts. Guests buzzed about the couple's latest milestones while the twins, dressed in coordinating metallic gowns, posed side by side for photographers. But as the night progressed, and as glasses of bubbly flowed faster than the servers could carry trays, Darcey began slipping into familiar territory. By the time the toast rolled around, her mascara had smudged slightly, her laughter carried a little too loudly across the dance floor, and her sentences came out with that all-too-recognizable slur. Georgi, standing off to the side with arms folded, noticed, and instead of biting his tongue, he leaned toward a mutual friend and muttered something under his breath that was sharp enough to cut through the music. "Guess some things never change," he said with a smirk, eyes trained on Darcey as she swayed against the podium, clutching her champagne flute like a lifeline. Unfortunately for him, Stacey caught every word. A celebration turned sour. Stacey had been on edge from the moment Georgi walked into the venue. Though she'd made peace with her sister's rocky on-again, off-again relationship with him, her guard was still firmly up. The history of explosive arguments, jealous outbursts, and emotional roller coasters hadn't been forgotten. Tonight was supposed to be about joy, renewal, and unity, but Stacey could see that Georgi's presence carried a storm cloud overhead. As Darcey attempted to give a heartfelt toast to her twins' marriage, fumbling over her words and tearing up mid-sentence, Georgi let out a chuckle that wasn't nearly as subtle as he thought. "Oh, come on," he muttered louder this time, shaking his head. Always making it about herself. The words hung in the air like spilled perfume, pungent and impossible to ignore. A few guests shifted uncomfortably, eyes darting between Darcey on stage and Georgi's unimpressed expression. Stacey's lips pressed into a thin line. She felt her chest tighten as embarrassment prickled her skin. This wasn't just a party foul. This was a direct jab at her twin, her other half, the woman who had stood beside her through every heartbreak and triumph. And Stacey wasn't about to let it slide. The call out. Later that evening, when Darcey had wandered to the bar for yet another refill, Stacey cornered Georgi near the dessert table. The glow of the spotlight made her sequined gown shimmer, but her eyes were sharp with fire. "Georgi," she hissed, keeping her voice low but firm, "I heard what you said. Don't think for 1 second that kind of disrespect is going to fly tonight." Georgi raised his brows, feigning innocence. "What? I didn't say anything wrong. She was drunk, Stacey. Everyone could see it. I was just being honest." "Honest?" Stacey's voice cracked like glass. "There's a difference between honesty and cruelty. That's my sister, my twin. You don't get to sit there making digs at her when she's vulnerable. Not here. Not tonight." Georgi sighed, running a hand through his hair. "I wasn't trying to ruin your night, okay? But someone has to say it. She's embarrassing herself, Stacey. She's embarrassing you. The word struck deep, not just because of the harshness, but because of the implication that Darcey was always going to be the messy one, the fragile one, the chaos magnet. Stacey clenched her fists, nails biting into her palms. No, Georgie. What's embarrassing is you tearing her down. You think you're helping? You're not. You're just proving why things between you two never work out. Because instead of lifting her up, you'd rather throw shade. Old wounds, fresh drama. By the time Darcey returned, champagne glass in hand, cheeks flushed with tipsy delight, she noticed the tension, but misread it. "What's going on?" she asked, blinking between her sister and her ex-fiancé. "Nothing," Stacey said quickly, forcing a smile. "Just reminding Georgie this is a celebration, not a roast." Darcey laughed, oblivious, and wrapped her arm around Stacey's waist. "I love you, sis. You're the best. No one can bring us down tonight." But inside, Stacey's heart thudded with a mix of protectiveness and unease. She knew her sister would eventually find out about Georgie's comments, and when she did, it would trigger another storm. And if there was one thing the Silva twins didn't need more of, it was stormy drama following them into yet another season. The fallout. As the night wound down, whispers about the exchange began circulating among guests. Some sympathized with Georgie, arguing that Darcey's behavior did put a damper on the elegant affair. Others sided with Stacey, praising her loyalty and willingness to stand up for her twin no matter what. For Florian, who had spent most of the night trying to keep the peace, the tension was exhausting. He quietly urged Stacey to drop it and enjoy the rest of the party, but she couldn't shake the sting of Georgie's digs. By the time the couple cut into their towering white cake, the room had split into subtle factions, those laughing and dancing, and those whispering about the Silva family drama unfolding in plain sight. The aftermath. The following morning, social media lit up with cryptic posts and not-so-subtle shade. Stacey posted a glamorous selfie with the caption, "Strong women lift each other up. Family over everything. #SilvaStrong." Darcey, still nursing a champagne hangover, shared a story of her and Stacey clinking glasses, adding, "No matter what, we rise together. Twin flames forever." Meanwhile, Georgi uploaded a picture of himself at the gym with the caption, "Sometimes the truth hurts. Better to face it than fake it." Fans immediately connected the dots, with comment sections exploding into debates. Was Georgi just being brutally honest, or was he crossing the line by taking jabs at Darcey when she was clearly vulnerable? And was Stacey right to confront him so publicly, or did she overreact in defense of her twin? Conclusion. What was supposed to be a glittering anniversary celebration turned into yet another Silva saga, complete with champagne tears, biting remarks, and social media shade wars. But if there's one thing longtime viewers know, it's that the Silva sisters never backed down from defending each other. For Stacey, Georgie's words weren't just casual observations. They were attacks on her sister's dignity, and by extension, her own. And for Darcey, though she may not have registered the insult in the moment, the fallout is sure to land in her lap soon enough. Because with the Silvas, every sparkle comes with a shadow, and every toast has the risk of turning into a takedown.